Hi, I'm Kevin Mann.
And I'm Sam Chaplin.
I host the Attitude Era podcast.
And I haven't seen any films.
And welcome to Cinema Swirl. Hello everyone and welcome to Cinema Swirl, episode number 15. It's our traipse through Tinseltown. Hello everyone once again. I'm Kevin Mann, looking back at some of these Hollywood classics and all-time greats with my OTP Sam Chapolino. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Hello.
Chapolino type of delicious pickled pepper, I think.
Yeah, just like Mama used to make.
I just I inquired at Papa John's and I said, went to Papa John's and I said, come here to me there now. What's them little green peppers that we were going on about? I think Chapolinos. I think is that's definitely what they're called. How you doing, Sam?
I'm good, thank you. I'm okay.
Yeah. Are you psyched for this special controversial episode of Cinema Swirl?
Yes, I am.
I don't know if controversy is the right term for this, but we put up movies that were possibly of a non-typical nature for some of the listening audience. They felt.
Yes, it's the most controversial swirl we've had of the whole time we've been doing cinema.
Did you call it a controversial swirl?
Yes.
Because that sounds like a delicious candy and I want it.
Yeah, the response has been mixed. So much so that we had a lot of votes. There was a lot of positive enthusiasm going on. People were very happy. We had some votes that weren't for any of the films that we listed. Now, the films...
I purposely avoided reading any of the comments or votes because I knew it was going to cause...
Probably a great strategy.
Yeah, and my theory in this one, because when you're dealing with sensitive issues of gender and taste and the mainstream and whatnot, you've got to look at that problem straight in the eyes and say, I'm going to hide under some coats and come back and hopefully Sam will have taken care of it for me.
That's exactly what's happened.
Yes!
We do have a clear winner. Now, you say we're addressing issues. We're not really. We're just literally, we put up Mean Girls, Clueless, and Legally Blonde.
I think it was Legally Blonde that pissed people off.
Probably, I think so.
I'm not sure what it was.
So I'm going to go through some of the votes that we've had that were not for those films. A lot of them
someone vote that we shut up? Please.
Pretty much. Okay, so here's what we've had. We had a vote for Akira.
Okay.
A second vote for Akira. A vote for Predator that got 3 likes. Several votes.
A vote for Predator, like. So I change it into the Arnold Schwarzenegger podcast.
Not even with any context, like, oh, I don't like these films, I vote for Predator. Just Predator, full stop. 3
and
likes.
Obviously 3 people are like, there's a like-minded person like that.
Quite a few votes for none. Just, I don't want any of these films. A lot of ballots have been spoilt in this vote. I think that's
it would be quite funny if we did it, right, let's go do a Cinema Swirl, and it goes, and we come back, nothing's happened.
Yeah. And then it's just the end music.
Thanks everyone for listening to Cinema Swirl.
This is what you wanted.
This is what you get what you pay for.
We had a not looking forward to this episode, voting for none. Is this an early April Fool's joke?
Yes, you caught us with our hands in the cookie jar this time.
Really stretching that definition of classic again. Debbie Does Dallas, Ghostbusters, and I sincerely hope this is a fucking joke.
Whoa!
But amongst that, we had a lot of this might be the best choice ever. I can't choose. This is amazing. And then all of the ones where people were voting for actual films, there's a lot of like, of course it has to be this one. This is the best thing ever. I'm so glad you're doing this. Yeah. So there was definitely divided opinion amongst our fans.
I think because the original plan was because we were doing themed votes with actors.
Yeah.
And the idea was like kind of like, oh, you know, a lot of male actors. Can we do one with an actress? And then we actually found it hard to find like classic movies with a leading lady that they weren't like, because I don't want to say like, hey, let's do Cameron Diaz and have one of the choices be like The Mask, one of the big movies she's in, because that's clearly not her movie. It's clearly like a Jim Carrey movie, and I was worried about getting into that. But I thought just doing like the romance teen comedy genre, that's like that's just as valid a genre of film as any of the other ones we've done.
Exactly.
We said very early on that we weren't just going to make this the Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie podcast, and I don't know, just because Hollywood in general is a sausage fest doesn't mean that this show has to be as well, you know?
It's important to do something different once in a while.
Hey, you never know. Sam might hate it and then be like, oh, I wish we did nothing instead.
Yeah, I might be on your side. minority who really
Open
hate
to
it.
interpretation, but we are doing Mean Girls,
Yes, that one.
which is
Yeah.
I am very, very excited for. So
Yeah.
we'll get into that one.
There's mainly a big
very
fight
shortly.
between Mean Girls and Clueless. Legally Blonde's not
Legally
so many
Blonde
fans. No.
didn't really have much of a chance in this one, I think, between those two.
Also, we've shied away from the very catchy but probably not appropriate Girl Swirl,
Girl Swirl!
which I've just never wanted to say, but I think it's perfect for this, but it's not at the same time.
Yeah, it's fine, now and then, just doing a movie from a different genre.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Girl Swirl.
I mean, come on, guys, you know this show. You know that we're dripping in romance, the two of us.
Yes.
Dripping in romance. So
We're
I don't know.
OTBFF.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As after this, you'll be an OT feminist icon, I'm sure, It'll be grand. Okay, let's dip into the mailbag. I must say, I remained quite taken aback last time you put in a jingle there.
Put it in, yeah.
How long were you sitting on that egg?
Well, I had a thing ready and I just put it. It was mainly to prove a point to you in a kind of, I'll put a jingle in. And then
I do like kind of any time I get you to make content or stuff for the show, if the underlying theme is I'll show you, you'll see, it always works very well.
That's the way to motivate me.
Exactly. Don't dangle a carrot in front of Sam. Dangle a carrot, and really stick it to him, so he'll want to overcome it. Well, we've got some nice messages, as always, to cinemaswirl@gmail.com.
That's cinemaswirl@gmail.com.
And thank you very much for your letters. We do read them all electronically. We put them on the e-fridge.
Yep.
The i-fridge, which is just full of apples. And got a couple of questions here. First one from Patrick Thornton, who's asking us, would you ever see us doing a theme on a set of films that had a preceding television show, like doing Star Trek and then the subsequent Star Trek movie, or Serenity with Firefly, or Lost with Lost, the video game?
Oh, if only.
If only.
Which I haven't played that video game.
Have you seen Firefly?
No.
No. So you've not seen Firefly. That might be an interesting one. That's.
Watch it without knowing the TV show.
I will say though, if we were to do that after we do the Let's Go Do a Cinema Swirl, that music plays.
Yeah.
A period of several dozen hours will probably have passed, which might be interesting. I don't know. Something might look.
I think watching them without context would be fun. Maybe not. I mean, I don't want to say they might not be stone cold classics because arguably this week we're not doing stone cold classics according to some naysayers.
Some naysayers who probably aren't listening at the moment, so
Yeah.
we stop appealing to them, Sam. Don't bother chatting to them. They're not in the room.
In fairness, that opinion is fine. You're entitled to think that, and hopefully might think differently after this episode.
Hey,
who knows?
We might change a few lives before the end of this one.
Yeah. Cinema Swirl.
We have another question in here, which is quite a common one, which is there, we've had variations on this, but is there any movie that Sam has seen that I haven't seen? And there's been a, for fuck's sake, type reaction to that.
We've had a lot of that throughout the whole process. We've had a lot of people writing in saying, oh, maybe do like a reverse the swirl.
Yeah, Adam Bigelow has been adamant about reverse swirl.
He's been adamant to Bigelow.
He's been adamant to Bigelow about it. The one problem about that, though, about the through a spanner into this works, is that last summer, I think I watched the 3 Wes Anderson movies I hadn't seen. So I think that may have thoroughly thrown a spanner in that works.
If we find one, we'll probably do one somehow, I think.
It's more than likely to be a current release, because I know you've been to the cinema a lot more recently than I have. Yeah. So I don't know.
Maybe. If we can find a proper film that I have seen and Kevin, if we find this anomaly, we will then do it. My dad even asked about that. Hey, here's a wacky, crazy idea.
Yeah.
Maybe reverse it.
There's 30 people who I think independently have all thought they've come up with this amazing idea. We hear you, folks.
Yeah, we acknowledge it, but we just haven't found that film yet.
Got another one here from Toby Spiller saying, hi, Sam and Kevin.
That's a cool name.
It's a really cool name.
Yeah.
Toby, the oil spiller. From the Steel City. Yep. Twisted Metal. Yeah, no, that's really good. Nice
Mr.
name.
Spiller.
Mr. Spiller.
That's cool. I like that. I don't know why I like that, but that's just cool.
For some reason, I just imagine Rocky talking, I'm sorry, Mr. Spiller.
It won't happen again.
I won't spill your milk again, Mr. Spiller. I'm sorry I cried, Mr. Spiller. But Toby Spiller writes, is there any culturally significant TV show that Sam has seen that Kevin has not? If so, maybe this could result in another
reverse TV swirl.
I mean, honestly, short of you making me watch Lost, I'm trying to think.
Which you should do.
I should, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Give it the old junior college try.
Yeah, watch the finale of Lost.
Yeah, give it the old community college try.
Yeah.
Give it the old part-time distance learning college try.
No, I think in the same way that this podcast started, you're very clued up on TV as well as films and stuff, and I'm slightly less so. Probably more. I'm more into TV than I am into film.
Definitely.
So
well, that's come out in this show, I think, particularly when we've talked about Sopranos at length.
But even still, like, there's some things where there's like blind spots in my knowledge of TV.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, again, we might visit the reverse swirl formula later on down the road. Oh, yeah, so thanks very much for sending those into cinemaswirl@gmail.com.
That's cinemaswirl@gmail.com.
And as always, if you've got any questions or comments or queries, do send them in there at that old email address there. Do we have any tweets? Yes. We tweets in at twitter.com//cinemaswirl. Yeah.
At cinemaswirl.
At cinemaswirl.
At gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
This one is from Twitter user owl_bear.
Okay.
In 5 years' time, when Cinema Swirl is the global media phenomenon, who will play you both in the film adaptation about your life?
Okay.
Ooh. Now, I've had a theory about this with you, that... Like, this isn't saying it looks like you or anything like that. Because I just assume that they would just kind of look at you, get a brief synopsis, 250 characters, and go, I just have Jesse Eisenberg do it. You know? And he'll just be Jesse Eisenberg, but he might have glasses and a Pepsi Max t-shirt, but he'll just fucking do it as him.
He could probably carry it off.
Yeah. He might surprise us to do Michael Cera, but I do think he'll just do Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
I don't know about me, though.
No. Also, I've thought for me, unfortunately, Philip Seymour Hoffman is dead. I would really love for him to play me. I think that would be
Does
great.
that mean, like, can I get Joaquin Phoenix then?
Oh,
because I mean, he has previously had a beard.
Yeah, when he went sort of fake breakdown and went into
full
rapping.
breakdown.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You could have
work.
Joaquin.
Yeah, it'd just be like The Master again. Have Paul Sanderson, direct that Hollywood classic.
There we go, done, sorted,
perfect.
Yeah.
That's how.
Oh, actually, the guy who is in Daredevil and is the kind of dorky sidekick.
Oh,
he could
Foggy.
be me. Yeah,
Foggy Nelson.
I'd like him to be me.
Yeah, no, he could be you as well.
Yeah.
Definitely, I could see that. But if anyone's any thoughts on that, do tweet in at Cinema Swirl. Who could play us in our inevitable Hollywood adaptation?
Who will play us?
Who will play us? And bear in mind, Zach Galifianakis has lost a lot of weight, so before you go tweeting there, bear in mind that he's a lot healthier than me now. So
we'll get some Kevin looks like tweets that we occasionally.
That sounds bad. That like you look like Zach Galifianakis before his turnaround. That's shit. That's what that is. Well, thanks very much for the tweet at Cinema Swirl as always. That's where you can follow us. Time to get into a very, very important topic. One which we alluded to several eons ago.
Yeah.
Episodes past. We have a great difficulty remembering what happens in what episode.
Yeah.
Bear with us. But I do know before that the notion of a taste test.
If someone wants to set up a Wikia and put some transcripts of episodes,
please, definitely, and add in, maybe the fan fiction that's there as well, so we have the actual canon Cinema Swirl and the fanfic Cinema Swirl.
Little segment for popular theories.
That being said,
so that's a Lostpedia reference for
fuck's sake, Sam. Lostpedia references.
Yeah.
We've hit a new low.
I was a contributing editor. Go on.
Did I just say hitting a new low? It's only time for Pepsi Swirl. A taste test.
Okay.
You can just take our word for it that it's blind because it's an audio podcast. So you can assume that we just exist as voices.
Yes.
That makes sense, okay? We have 4 different cups of fizzy drink.
Yeah.
Amongst them, Sam's beloved Pepsi Max.
Yeah.
Amongst them, Diet Coke. Amongst them also, Coke Zero, which people have told me is just Diet Coke. That there is no difference.
There's a difference.
And those people some of them are sciences.
Scienced.
Some of them are sciences. So, if the science is saying
biology has told you.
I'm just saying,
Okay.
biology is one of the main science that we have.
Yeah.
And also in there, one which we tried to do before, which is Diet Pepsi.
Yeah.
But this, a little bit of this asterisk beside it, and I think might give it away. It's Diet Pepsi caffeine free.
Yeah. So I won't be able to taste the caffeine.
DPCF, rolls off the tongue. They are in 4 mystery jugs, which I very craftily moved around like a New York-style game of shells.
And I didn't see the liquids being put in the mugs. That was in the the kitchen separate
Yeah,
from where
separately.
I am now. This was Periscopes, but you won't have heard that.
Also, as well, for those of you thinking, oh, Sam Chaplin, very cagey, cat-like character. Surely his hyper senses will help. No, I spun his chair around three times. And also made him look up and down, then side to side.
Yeah.
So, to say that the man is bamboozled is a gross understatement. Sam, do you want to take the first mystery mug to your immediate left?
I'm willing to put my Pepsi where my mouth is. Let's do this.
It's in a lost mug.
Okay. I found it. It's here.
Solid gag. Hashtag solid gag.
Right. Okay. This is mug 1. Lost mug.
Mug 1.
Am I just to try it?
Taste it and then tell me if you can. Do you want to taste them all and then tell me, or do you want to taste them individually and then have a go?
I'll try them all.
Okay.
I'll have a little sip of each.
Have a little sip of each. So that's mug 1 there, which is the lost but now found mug.
Okay. I have my theory about that one.
Now I know Sam can tell the difference between Pepsi and Coke, but whether or not he can tell the difference between the different shades. This is definitely 50 shades of Pepsi here, folks.
I'm on to mug 2 now.
On to mug 2. Mug 2, which is a Better Call Saul mug, folks, for those of you wondering at home.
This is so much more difficult.
Is it? So that's a Better Call Saul mug in there. Okay.
Shit, that might be it. Oh, okay. I'm not sure. I have to taste the
I
other
feel
one.
like we should have a barbecue potato chip for you to cleanse the palate. Mug 3 now, which is the now famous Robinsons logo, make warm, make fun. Which is kind of a... I mean, you could just put that on the front of a brothel, really, couldn't you? I mean...
Okay.
Here we go. Another sip.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, that one I think is the Diet Pepsi caffeine.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is the last mug.
Last mug, which is a Wren Conservation Society. Sam Chaplin, not just a fan of Lost and Better Call Saul and Warm Pop, he also likes small woodland birds.
Okay, right.
So, okay, if we reach a decision, do you want another sip? An auxiliary sip?
I think I've got these two.
Okay, so the Robinsons one, what do you think it is?
I'm not 100% sure. I think that's Diet Pepsi caffeine.
Yes, it is! Yeah. Very good.
I think Ren Living is Diet Coke.
Fucking yes, it is!
No, it's just between these two. As to whether I can find the Pepsi.
Sure, do you want to have a taste?
I'll have some more sips.
Okay, re-sipping mug number 1, the lost
so
mug.
tense.
This is so tense. You better believe I'm putting really tense game show music over this. Like, okay, couple of sips there.
Okay, right. I had it all along. Pepsi Max, Coke Zero.
100% clean.
Yeah!
Fucking hell. You know what? I was fully expected to come out of this going, see folks, Sam's love of Pepsi Max and other black fizzy liquids is just something we play up for comedic effect on a podcast.
No.
You seek help.
I'm so proud of myself.
I'm so ashamed of you right now. It's ridiculous.
That was so much fun. I'm so happy.
Well, there you go. That's it for Pepsi Swirl.
I didn't embarrass myself.
If
I mean, in a way, I did.
Right, getting into the movie du jour.
Oh, yeah.
Mean Girls.
Yep.
I think it's quite funny because obviously this movie is called Mean Girls, and a lot of people in the comments are probably thinking that Mean Girls are the reason that we had this vote in the first place.
Hey.
Mean Girls is a movie which absolutely fucking came in like a freight train when I was a teenager. Okay. And one of the first things I saw as that age that both girls and guys of my age fucking fell immediately in love with.
Okay.
Quoted it all along, and then it's just one of these ones then that once people reached university, it just took on this cult status. Everyone, Mean Girls was watched many a times coming back from various nights out and stuff. Okay. So mainly because it has such I mean, if you tell me freshers at university, I just think Mean Girls. Okay. You know, because it's just everyone watches it. And how did you avoid that? Because I know obviously you did go to university.
Yes, I did. Now I'm a touch younger than you. So when did this come out?
It came out in 2004, so just when I was sweet 16.
Yeah, I was 13.
Sweet 13.
And I honestly think that makes
I think that made a huge
difference.
Yeah.
I think it will have come out and girls and people in my friendship group might have liked it. And I probably thought, a girl film? No, thank you. I'm going to see boy films because I'm a boy. It's got girls in the title. I'm not going to see that.
It's got ruddy pink font.
Yeah.
And a pink background.
No, thank you.
Because you were obviously so young at that point as well that you wouldn't have looked and kind of go, there's 4 very beautiful women on the front, which I'm not ashamed to admit that as a 16-year-old, it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to go see Mean Girls.
No, it was just before that would be like a proper motivating factor.
And I saw all 4 of them there. I was like, oh, now which one of those are are the mean ones now? Is it the ones in the corner? Because they look rather mean.
Yeah.
I will go see it with you. I will. I'd love to go see that. You know, great. Loved it. Lindsay Lohan, obviously the title character of this. I remember having this kind of weird little crush on Lindsay Lohan back in the time because I was like, she was just really successful, and I loved the idea of.
That's what you were drawn to.
I was drawn to success. Her and Amanda Bynes, who had the Amanda Show at Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
People who were just funny kids who then managed to become wildly rich teenagers.
Was Lindsay Lohan I nearly said Nintendo star, Nickelodeon star?
She was a Mouseketeer, I believe, because she was in a lot of the early. She was in like stuff from like a very, very young age, some Disney movies.
She was like a child
that.
star, and then just graduated into normal films.
And then she was like a very young child star, then a tween star, then a teen star.
She's had all of them.
So she kind of had all those, except the kind of current moment she's in. She's still in that kind of weird kind of downward spiral. But what's your awareness of Lindsay Lohan? Because she's one of those people who's an actress who everyone's heard of, and have you ever seen a movie with her in it?
No, no, I don't.
Do you
think
follow
so.
her on Twitter?
No.
She's a great follow on Twitter, I will say.
Okay.
She's fantastic.
I know of Herbie Fully Loaded. I know of that. I know that she's in that. Freaky Friday, where someone swaps with possibly their mum.
Yeah,
I think.
How freaky!
And on a Friday of all days.
Turns out the boardroom is a lot like the schoolroom. Guess we're
not so different.
We're not so different, you and I, daughter and mother. Clearly, you're not different. You're 50% genetically identical, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but no, I've not seen many Lindsay Lohan.
So
I kind of know Lindsay Lohan
what do you know
as
of her, then?
a media personality, as a celebrity, and often as a butt of jokes.
Yes.
I think because she had some kind of drug trouble.
She did, yeah. No, she's followed the whole kind of. Like the Paris Hilton kind of set, which is kind of like, here's someone who's got celebrity, has had like, it's all stupid shit. Like she's been to like prison and rehab, and she's been to things like community service, but it's all for like, she had a DUI, but then didn't show up to court, and then didn't do community. And it's like, so she's been in the media spotlight, seemingly like she's fucking, I don't know, like a drug overlord and all this stuff of her being going to prison stuff, but it's just.
She's not done that much wrong. She's just like not showed up to things.
They did like a thing with her and Oprah, and they went to her house.
Right.
And she just had like loads of shit everywhere. And it was just like really, like, she needs like my mum to go.
Is it just that she's
like,
a bit messy?
She needs my mum to go there and give her a laminate of like all like the important stuff she needs to remember to do.
Yeah, all Lindsay Lohan needs is a rota.
She needs a rota, and she needs to make sure that the immersion is on, and there's hot water, and there's milk in the fridge, because you can't run a house without either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's what Lindsay Lohan may be missing.
Okay. It's probably that kind of, star lifestyle when you're so young, and then as you grow up, you kind of get a bit confused and weird. Yeah. It happens to a lot of child stars, doesn't it?
It does. I think there's a theory, I don't know what you think about it, that like America specifically loves to build up child stars to this like giant thing, and then like see them pop, and they like to see the downward spiral.
Definitely, because I think at the moment, what's happening to like Justin Bieber seems comparable to what I remember about Lindsay Lohan.
Except they're not taking pictures up his skirt.
No.
But it's a similar kind of thing in that, hey, they ain't cute no more. They're pissing in buckets and tweeting weird shit now.
Yeah. So she probably hasn't done that much wrong, but the kind of, especially back however long ago it was just kind of, Lindsay Lohan, what's the deal with her? She's, and properly the media piling on her and being mean to her. So that's all I really know.
Exactly, because she's one of the people you only really know because it's like, troubled actress Lindsay Lohan was in trouble this weekend when she got in trouble, and that's kind of all you hear about her. Yeah. So are you excited to see her actually in a movie?
Yes.
Do you think she'll be good?
I think so. I think she's achieved star status at such a young age, presumably because she's good.
Yeah. In terms of these movies being hyped up for you, the one thing I'm always very, very concerned about is that if someone hypes up a movie by telling you that it is funny, and this is obviously one where a lot of people will probably have told you, that's so funny. Is that a concern to you? Do you think you're going to enjoy it? Like, is humor pitched to you, do you think?
No, a lot of people have said like this was like a film they really loved and it was hilarious and stuff. And I've had quotes quoted at me out of context.
Such as?
You go Glenn Coco.
Do you know who Glenn Coco is?
No.
Do you know why he should go?
I do not know Glenn Coco.
Uh-oh.
Or why? Don't know Glenn Coco. So I'm looking forward to that. because I assume that's a pivotal moment in the film.
Okay.
Where Glenn Coco
When Glenn Coco and Lindsay
presumably
Lohan-
goes.
It
Yeah.
might be a silly question to ask, but what do you reckon happens in Mean Girls?
Okay, well, that's a
Because
good point.
just, you mean, you've had a gander at the
I've seen the poster.
poster.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I assume you know that it's obviously... Do you think Lindsay Lohan is the mean girl?
No, I think Lindsay Lohan is probably a new girl
Oh, I see.
at a different school.
Ah,
Yeah, which I think
we've
that's-
all been there.
Yes, we have. I think that's probably been done before in a few different things. Like
Oh, yeah.
new kid at school having a tough time, and there were some girls who are presumably mean to her.
And she turns to the camera and is like, no one told me these girls would be mean.
Yeah.
You know?
Those are some mean girls.
Credits roll. Like. Well, what I always thought, if you look at it, because if you look at the poster again,
Yeah.
which is Lindsay Lohan kind of looking over her shoulder,
She's in the foreground.
and there's all these like, it's obviously the mean girls are mean to her because she's so giant.
Yeah.
These tiny little mean girls
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
corner, all kind of like, they're all being mean, but they're
just
just making fun
jealous
of her
of
because
how
she's
massive
80
she is.
foot tall. Like.
Yeah.
I mean, Lindsay Lohan can't help it. She couldn't show up to her court date. She's too big.
Yeah, she can't
She
fit
could
through
fit
the door.
in the courthouse.
Yeah, but no, they're literally on the poster talking about her behind her back. So I assume that's part of it. Like, it's
Literally, like-
literally the way they photoshopped it is that they are behind her back saying stuff. So I think, other than that, though, I don't know anything about plot. I know it's high school based, and I'm never quite sure when high school is. Here's the thing: I don't know. Is it
GCSEs, basically.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
So what's A level? When's that? Is that that's
Senior
still
high.
high school?
It's senior high, isn't it then?
I don't know if it's two schools. I think
What
it's
if,
the same school.
I know you can be a fresh man.
Why, thank you, Kevin. I'd been hoping you'd say. So no, I don't know. Yeah, it's like...
And so more.
So I think she's probably like 17, 18 years old, maybe
Okay.
younger.
But here's
And
the thing,
there's
though.
girls who are mean at
Do
school.
you think she's playing the age? Because you always think it's like Lindsay Lohan. She's like fucking 25 playing the 17-year-old or something like that. You know.
Yeah. I
So
don't know.
They always make her play younger than she is.
In between us two situations.
Very much so. Like.
I don't know. I'm not sure how old she was when this came out.
Last question about this then.
Okay.
It's just like, have you watched many kind of like romance or kind of teen girl pitched movies? Or I mean, because you're all obviously for doing the vote on it.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you've
Yeah.
seen any other experience. Because I mean, you've not seen Clueless, and you've not seen this, you've not seen like Easy A or whatever. So I mean,
No.
don't know if there's any other ones that you have seen.
Probably somewhere down the line. I can't imagine I will have paid complete attention.
Have you
because I
watched
am
My
I
Sweet
was
16 ever?
No.
Oh, what? Okay, because that might kind of help a little bit with this if you had. So.
Okay.
I'm interested to see what you think about this. Are you excited?
Yes. I'm
Do
still
you-
trying to figure out what happens, other than some girls are mean.
I mean,
And
mate,
that's
it's only 90 minutes. I mean, we can all stand 90 minutes. If a girl's mean to you for longer than 90 minutes, take it as a hint, guys. Okay,
Yeah.
but I mean, we can stand 90 minutes of mild meanness. I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it'd be
think
grand.
so. I'm excited. I don't know who else is in it, or who
There's-
it's directed by.
Not directed by, but written by someone you're probably familiar with, Tina Fey.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Do you know Tina Fey?
Yes, I do.
Are you a 30 Rock?
30 Rock.
fan?
I watched some 30 Rock. I've watched
Unbreakable.
Kimmy Schmidt.
They'll,
Unbreakable. It's a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pinot Noir.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Okay.
good. Yeah. So
Is
Tina
it-
Fey has she's in it as
Ah.
well. So
Okay.
she's written it as a screenplay. It was obviously 2004, so before she had
Yeah.
kind of broken out herself.
Okay.
But yeah.
So this could be quite gag heavy.
Well, I mean, do you like Tina Fey as a writer?
Yeah.
She's quite
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
I find.
Yeah.
So does that maybe give you an extra boost with this?
I'm
then?
feeling more confident that I will enjoy this film now.
Excellent. Well, without further ado, let's go do a cinema swirl. Mean Girls, woo, every day they're out there making Mean Girls, woo. How did you find that?
That film was so fetch, Kevin.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, it's true what they say, though. Life is like a hurricane here in Meanburg. So initial reaction is a positive one. I heard a lot of laughs.
Yes, plenty of laughs. Some big hearty like ha 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 like
And there was a few
Funny. Yeah.
the deeper, the
Yeah, yeah.
baritone laughs.
yes.
The laughs of pure joy.
I have like a wide spectrum of laughter in terms of pitch.
Yeah. So it was a funny movie then.
Funny movie, yes, very funny, sharp,
Would
quick.
you attribute a lot of that to Tina Fey then? Would you say? 'Cause
Well, I
it's-
imagine so.
Yeah.
She wrote it, but I would also attribute a lot of it, Kevin, to some of the direction in terms of the visual gags, and we'll
Ooh.
come to visual gags soon.
Very
Solid
soon.
visual gag.
So we open up on Mean Girls with the well-established trope: the first day of school, so you should be nervous. Unlike my first day at school, though, the janitor from Scrubs is there, and also unlike anyone's first day at school, grown-ass woman Lindsay Lohan is going to school.
I wrote that jerk from Scrubs.
That jerk.
Yeah.
So Katie is our main character, played by Lindsay Lohan, incorrectly referred to as Catty by most characters throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Who's got the Guardian readers' lefty, liberal, loony nonsense upbringing. Oh, bloody lefty loonies bringing their kids up in Africa,
Yeah.
then getting tenure at a university and coming back from Africa once you've settled.
Yeah.
So she is going to go to school for the first time.
Real school, proper school, yeah.
Not Africa school.
No, we learn about elephants and stuff.
I was going to say learn about elements, but we learn about elephants instead. The periodic table of elephants. But immediately, the whole idea with this movie is to set the scene and show the parallels where you've got a girl who's only grown up, homeschooled, and she's familiar with the wild, so to speak, in the jungle, being out in Africa.
But not the wild of
not-
high school.
Not the wild of high school, which is a wild, wild west in its own right.
I assume that was the pitch that they gave to the studio when they were like...
If you can imagine, right, bear with me, school is like a shit zoo. That's kind of what they're going for here.
It's like a dog, yeah?
And they,
Solid gag, ladies and gentlemen.
hashtag solid gag right there. I gotta give it to you. So she finds from joining school, as many of us do when we join school for the very first time, that school is inundated with rules.
Yeah.
Little things like you're not allowed to pee standing up in the urinals and take your trousers down. You know that like kids have to learn these things, but obviously the rules are slightly different. Joining it as like she's meant to be 16 in this.
Yeah.
I don't think Lindsay Lohan actually was 16.
No.
She looks a good deal older than 16 in this. I don't know. But anyway, there's loads of rules in school, such as the need for hall passes, lavatory passes. I did not have such a system in my school.
No.
Did you?
No.
Were you just allowed to go to the toilet whenever you wanted to?
Yeah.
Really?
Not to brag.
You just like get up in the middle and just walk off.
Yeah.
Just assuming that
Actually, probably maybe not. I don't know. I can't remember. Which school was this, you know? I don't know
main
whether it's
school.
big school.
Main timeline
Yeah.
school.
I could just piss whenever I wanted. Wherever I wanted, yeah?
On whoever I wanted. So Tina Fey is introduced as the maths teacher, and she is pretty much like a kind of the straight person in this. Like she's like the character who kind of most people bounce off.
Yeah.
It's nice to see Tina Fey. Right, it's a very funny movie
Very nice.
where she has like none of the real. Like she's obviously an awesome character, but
Yeah.
most of the gags are kind of usually at her expense.
Yeah.
or-
She writes a few good lines for herself, but I think she's, consciously spreading them out.
I tell you who gets the fucking like every gut busting line in this movie. Most
Principal?
of them come the principal.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, the principal's so funny.
He's very funny.
And we were afraid to try to figure out who
Yeah.
it was, and he got a stern IMDb.
We could have recognised him from literally anything. He's been in so much stuff.
So much stuff
Yeah.
for very brief periods of time. Okay.
Also, the kind of intro of this film and the way it's shot in the first few moments reminded me a lot of kind of Wes Anderson-y type things. Like the
go on.
like the cuts to people talking directly to camera in the centre about things.
Saying weird shit.
Yeah, it was like a really funny, pacey, more silly Wes Anderson style.
You get a real sense of the school though,
Yeah.
by like having all these little snippets of these weird people, like going past a group of guys. It's the first group of guys you see in the movie, and you hear him say, a guy going, "It only counts if you saw a nipple."
Yeah, exactly. The film feels a lot like TV, which I kind of think is because Tina Fey's written for a lot of TV, and I think she did before this.
I do believe so. But
She did SNL and stuff.
Yeah, SNL obviously would have been the main, and there was someone else involved with this from SNL as well.
I saw Lorne Michaels' name in the credits at the
That
start.
name was familiar to your ear.
Because he's like big boss SNL man, but I don't know what his involvement in this film was. But I assume he's got some hand in it somewhere.
Yeah,
So,
he's
yeah.
either producing or directing or some such.
I think you can tell that there's some kind of writing for TV influence in this, but I think it works really well.
Yeah,
it makes the film properly funny and pacey.
Yeah, because you kind of like it's a big school, but you get a sense of the school within like the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
You kind of know what the main cliques are, you kind of know who the different people are, and the different kind of styles of student that there are. Katie meets Damien and Janice,
Yes.
who are equal parts odd and lovely.
Yeah.
Janice, of course, reminded me strongly of the cartoon version of the lady from Beetlejuice, which I suspect is a reference that you won't get.
Don't get it,
two.
mate.
Damien is fucking amazing, and I was, for the life of me, trying to figure out if he'd done anything since.
Yeah, I thought, I hope so, because his character is hilarious.
funny.
And
He's
funny.
So
Yeah.
funny. He's so funny. He's, quote, too gay to function, but he is absolutely hilarious. I adore him. And they kind of strike up this little friendship with Katie because she's the new girl. And
She's been having a tough time initially, kind of doesn't really know anyone or get on with anyone.
Can't get to the toilet.
Yeah, and she's made some kind of slightly outcast friends, but they're really nice and lovely. And also this being introduced to Janice started something that kind of carries on for me throughout this film, which is noticing like t-shirts and tops and things
Yeah.
that I really want.
Yeah.
I just want a shirt that just says rubbish on it.
I do think it was originally meant to be garbage, and they were like, she probably wouldn't listen to that, so it's rubbish.
I think it's more kind of cool and weird and niche if you're American and it says rubbish, which is not really a thing that Americans say.
Yeah, they don't actually do that.
No.
They don't even call it a dustbin over there, do they? Crazy stuff.
Email in what you call it.
Email in what you call your dustbin. What does your nan call it? Is that, you know?
I want a rubbish shirt.
They all cut class.
Some would say I've got a few rubbish shirts.
Way. They all
night.
cut class together, which is kind of like the trope, which I've never quite understood though, is the whole idea of the outcasts who are very sociable and friendly together and seem to have an intricate knowledge of all the other social groups.
Yeah.
Yet they themselves.
But I like them as a plot device.
I do. They make it very convenient that they both hate and know everything about everyone there is to know. Another golden bit, which comes quite early, the PE teacher, the coach, who's giving them sex ed, says, don't have sex because you'll get pregnant and die.
Here's some rubbers.
Here's some rubber. Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Did you get, because I, obviously Catholic school, we didn't get sex ed.
Right.
All that we were told was that you should use a condom, but it's technically against our religion's teachings, so bear that in mind.
Okay, very mixed messages.
Very mixed messages.
Yeah.
I did I wasn't given free condoms.
Okay.
But I was told that, sex would probably lead to death in some way, shape, or form. Did you, in the good old jolly UK system, get a thorough sex education?
Yeah, loads.
Did you get free condoms?
Yeah.
That's fucking... Did they tell you you'd die?
No.
That
Well,
sounds-
no, if we had like
you don't get me-
unprotected sex and got diseases and stuff and told us about what they were, put a condom on a little like plastic
banana?
penis-like thing, but
So
wasn't
not a
actually
banana.
It looked like a big Tic Tac that had been stretched out. It was really cool.
No, I'll be on, because you love Tic Tac, so
But it
that
ha-
must have been kind of like a bit
Yeah.
of an odd moment for you there. Kind of
Yeah.
like, that's a bloody big Tic Tac over there. I mean, that looks delicious, But
I'm not getting that down me. Wait, what lesson is this?
Mate, my breath is going to be ludicrously fresh after this, quite frankly.
I'm not falling for that one again.
You're just like the polo people, So you had sex ed that was both informative, you got free condoms, and there was no general sense that you'd be killed or anything like that.
No.
I'll just say that sounds lovely.
Yeah.
It sounds really lovely.
It's great.
I've got envy for that now, really.
So when I have sex, it's going to be like amazing.
We're introduced to the antagonists of the movie. There's all sorts of cliques up in this school, and the worst of them all, the head honchos of coolness and being fetch, Karen, Gretchen, and Regina, who are referred to as the Plastics. I couldn't figure out if they referred to themselves as the Plastics, ironically, or if it was an evil label that was given to them by...
I think it's the latter.
Yeah, because I don't think they'd want to call
No.
themselves that. They are pretty much evil, but not so much as evil as Janice, who refers to Regina as being a slut-faced hoe bag. It's funny, only when I've written them down, right, and it's coming out of my mouth, I'm like, oh, this movie's got a bit of a potty mouth on it, because it's only 12s.
Is it?
Even, yeah.
Oh.
And you have slut-faced hoe bag.
Yeah.
They dropped some of that pretty heavily, but it sounds so natural coming out of out of their mouths, so I can't really pick fault with it, I guess. We get all sorts of rumors about Regina, about how cool she is, and how people just make stuff up about her.
Punched me in the face and it was awesome.
She may have modelled for car commercials in Japan. My favourite one, she met John Stamos and he said that she was really beautiful. A montage set to the Futurama music of all the different cliques.
Yep.
Jocks, nerds, grubs, orcs, high elves, Dark elves.
Lannisters.
Lannisters. Nerds.
Yeah.
High nerds. What group or what clique? Because, I mean,
Okay.
there wasn't really cliques. We had, like, the rugby guys in my school.
Yeah.
And then there was...
Who you were with?
Obviously not, no. I was part of debate squad.
Not a rugger lad?
I was not a rugger lad. I was a conscientious objector debater lad.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that was my kind of my scene. What did you have a clique,
Yeah.
or if you were to insert yourself
Okay.
into a clique, into these American trope cliques? Which
No,
one
I
would you
was
think?
in amongst little groups. I hung out with like the kind of nerdy video game kids a lot, even though I didn't
Yeah.
know that much about video games.
That must have been difficult.
Yeah, and also
Just
simultaneously.
like the talented Mr. Ripley, man. Oh wait, that's a reference you're not going to get.
Nope.
Never mind. It's like a situation where you have to pretend to be someone
Yeah.
that you're not. I've just spoiled the talented Mr. Ripley for you. Fuck,
Well, that's
I'm
out of
sorry.
the
That's
swirl.
out of the swirl.
So I was with them and also the kind of goths.
The
and
goths?
and the rock kids. you know?
Really?
Yeah. So it was kind of like hovering
Did
between
you
the
have a button
two,
badge?
and there was some overlap. It was a Venn diagram of like games and rock music.
Yeah.
And kind of, yeah.
I mean, I obviously wasn't part of it, and that didn't exist in my school at the time.
I've sewn some patches on things. Is what I'm
Oh,
saying. Yeah.
right. Have you ever put a drawing pin through something?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just
Of course I
that's
have.
very good.
Yeah.
Excellent. They didn't exist in my school,
Okay.
or I think in any school in Ireland at the time. But looking back now, having watched this and Freaks and Geeks and things, I
Hmm.
think I would have made a very good Burnout. Particularly if you took like 27-year-old Kevin and somehow
Yeah.
made him a child.
Yeah.
Like him exactly.
Burnout.
Burnout.
Yeah.
I would have been a real.
I
good.
think the kind of cliques have become more apparent in American high schools because no one has uniforms. It's a lot harder to define your group of people when you're all wearing the same clothes.
Yeah, as opposed to the UK where you've got groups of grown men and women walking around saying, "Stop being a clique. You're forbidden from being a clique."
Yeah.
So Katie decides to sit with the evil, witchy white women.
Yeah.
We get an amazing line from Gretchen. Gretchen is like a great fan favorite, and she tries
Yeah.
to get to refer things as being fetch, which she believes is a saying here in England.
Yeah.
Now, I've only been here a few years, but I don't think fetch is a thing.
Well, it was like a few years ago.
No.
Yeah.
Not because of this movie, or actually...
No, before. Like when I was,
Really?
yeah, it was a thing.
No.
And then it kind of, and then it was in this thing, and then people kind of got bored of it.
Oh, 'cause I thought
it's not a
people-
thing anymore, but it was like when I was a kid.
Oh, I thought it was just completely random. I didn't realize fetch was...
Yeah.
Is it like a thing that your dad would say, like, oh, that's totally wizard?
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. So it was a thing that he said in like the 90s, and now it's not.
Wow, that's really...
That's not true at all. I
The
just
other,
made all of that
you
up.
bastard. Well, I learned up an English thing the other day,
Yeah.
which was the phrase, oh, that canes.
Yeah, you didn't know about canes?
No fucking
Oh,
clue.
that canes.
That canes.
Yeah, if you it really hurts you.
If you get caned with a cane, it'll cane.
Yeah.
God.
Buffalo. Yeah, it's that kind of thing.
So Janice finds out that Katie has sit with the incorrect group and is
Yeah.
incredibly pissed off at this fact.
In fairness, Katie did it kind of by accident
Yeah.
because someone was being a skis to her.
I love
And
that
there's-
word. I love that word.
Stop being a skis, and then she got invited over to the table, and then you see kind of the
She
way.
becomes the skeezy in the
Yeah.
instance.
You see the way that Regina?
Yeah.
She's very clever at being mean.
Yes.
Like she manages to compliment people and then unpin them and then kind of unravel the whole thing.
She's
and
a
then,
tactician.
yeah, it's really clever.
She's very good at making other people say that they've said something when they have
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
I admire her in
Yeah.
a strange way. I'm
There's
sure,
a lot
like-
of intelligence to it.
Well, I imagine people like that just go on to be really successful in business.
Yeah. Probably.
God damn it.
It's a sad thought, isn't it, that all
It
the people
is.
who were really mean to you in school probably have better jobs.
Damn mean, popular, overpaid people. God
Yeah.
damn it. Katie meets the hunk of the piece who she falls in love with and has a big old crush on immediately. He is quite the dreamboat.
Aaron Samuels.
I just called him Hunk.
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 Hunky McGee.
Straight up Hunk.
Yeah. Hot fella.
He's a hot piece of hunk. I couldn't take him very seriously as love interest because he wasn't very good at math.
No.
Also, I like the fact that this is an American movie, so instead of saying maths, they say math.
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 I've been studying math.
I have so much math. It's so funny. It's a plural. You have to do loads of them.
Yeah.
You know? Adore it. So they have to wear certain colours on certain days in the plastics. Like they have to wear
Yeah.
pink on a certain day.
Now,
or-
they on Wednesdays we wear pink. Now, I'm used to orange Wednesdays, especially in films. But obviously they've got a different rule in America.
Oh, clearly, do they get 2 for 1 if they all
Yeah.
show up like that?
I think so. There's also Blue Monday, which is Solid gag.
Solid gag.
Thank you.
So we find out as well, it's very troublesome indeed, because her crush, the hunk, is also Regina's ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Which in girl world apparently means that they're not allowed...
No-go zone.
No, which Gretchen says is, quote, the rules of feminism. It's one of the main ones.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You know. So we get an offer that she gets to join the mathletes, and she's in that horrible tweener zone that I'm sure you and I both are in, which is academically incredibly bright, but also incredibly beautiful and popular.
Yeah.
So
We all have that
between
dilemma.
two worlds, you
Yeah.
know, and forced to leave somewhat of a double life, you know.
This is where I notice a kind of comparison to like Malcolm in the Middle. That she's
Yeah, there
kind
was
of-
a little bit of that, definitely.
Yeah. So she's very smart, but
Yeah.
she doesn't want to be seen as the smart kid.
She doesn't understand really why joining the mathletes is like, quote, social suicide. She's
Yeah.
told. And she doesn't understand why, because she's good at math.
Although maybe that Kevin guy is kind of a clue.
Maybe. I mean, I'm just going to say it right now, but you let down hashtag Team Kevin. All right, we're a brand and you're meant to be representing us, and you let the side down major. You'll be left off the quarterly email because of this. I'm just saying. We get to find out there's like an extra evil dark side to Regina, because there's always movies or like High School Musical type scenarios where like, oh, she's a mean girl. She looks at herself in a mirror every now and then, you know?
Yeah.
She obviously must be pure evil. Regina at one point calls up someone and tells their mother that she's leaving a message on behalf of Planned Parenthood.
But this is the thing where I'm like, that's so clever though. It's like it's smart way of being mean to someone and like stopping two people from dating. Like they're in the mall and they're kind of just spying on.
It's a
people.
nice mixture of like evil but also incredibly intelligent.
I admire it.
Because I mean, like, for instance, the girls' school across the road from me, the Catholic girls' school.
Oh,
like,
you were in like
Yeah, we were separated
okay.
by many walls and roads.
Yeah.
But I do recall very specifically in one of the years that a group of those girls, they were giving out free condoms and they picked them all with drawing pins to put holes in them. And they thought it
Jesus.
was hilarious. Now that's not intelligent, that's just evil.
Classic Catholicism.
Classic, like, you know. I'll show you to take the Lord's name in vain, you know. So it was nice to see evil channeled. But Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there we go. Bleak Irish childhood
Yeah.
strikes again.
There's a scene in the mall where Katie compares it to Africa, and then you see just everyone become animals and
Going
it's
around.
shot as a thing.
Including Regina
Yeah.
just going around.
Which, and it's that kind of like visual joke that is done cleverly that I haven't seen in many recent films like.
You know what it reminded me of? A little bit like Spaced and stuff like that. Hey!
Yeah. See, I wrote it down.
Buddy,
Yeah, it's like
how
Space.
about that?
It's kind of how Edgar Wright does stuff.
Say something like kind of off the wall, then like have a visual representing it for just the right amount, then put quickly back.
Yeah.
I mean that really is awesome, and I think it's easy just to look at this movie and go, oh, funny dialogue, well written, interplay between, but it's actually those visual gags make it flow. So
And they're quick,
fucking well.
and the cuts are quick.
It's awesome.
It's good.
They all go to Regina's house.
Yeah.
And Regina's got an inappropriate sister and just a fucking brilliant character. This is a character who I didn't really find that funny when I first watched it, like as a teen.
Yeah.
But watching it now, this is the first time I watched this movie in a good few years. But Amy Poehler
It's sort of dorky,
as
cool.
the
mom.
dorky, cool in inverted commas mom is like who says like, I'm not like a normal mom. I'm like a cool mom.
It's so cute
It's
and
so
silly
funny.
and funny. Yeah.
Because I think we can admit right now that the world is generally in kind of in awe of the concept of like dads and like goofy dads and that kind of thing.
Dorky dad.
But I think dorky moms, 2017 maybe, I think that's going to come around. But she's so funny in this.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. How many start with? Anyway, Regina's mom makes them all virgin cosmopolitans, which immediately makes her cooler than my mom.
Sorry, just like that. I forgot that happened.
She makes those
comes in
cocktails.
with
And
all
like,
these
don't worry, there's no alcohol unless you want to, because you know.
I
But
prefer that you do it in the house. Oh.
as you recur, I'm a cool mom. I knew so many people's parents.
Yeah.
So like her. Crazy to think like it really like was something that resonated with me. We get introduced to the Burn book.
Yeah. Now.
Which is a categorization of like everyone in the school with really horrible evil things that Regina and the Plastics have written about them.
Yeah, that girl made out with a hot dog and that kind of thing.
Yeah, now we've all been there.
Yeah.
I've made out with a hot dog on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just call it eating a hot dog.
Oftentimes, chili has been involved.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't go put that in a burn book now. You mentioned to me that there was a burn book in your school?
No, well, I definitely remember people talking about the concept of a burn book and burn books and writing things in burn books.
Were people
I don't know whether
burning
it was
books? Now, because in my village back home, they did that.
that was
once.
common practice. Yeah.
They burnt the books.
No, I think it was definitely about what this was, and I now
More like
remember
a burn book.
So
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's kind of just, oh, let's just talk about a thing that was in a movie, or whether some girls had literally, unironically, taken the thing from this movie and started doing it in real life.
It would be awful if the thing they took from the movie was like, hey, that's a really fun way to spread hate. As
I
opposed
honestly
to
think
the
that
bit
might
later
have
on where
happened.
they all make up
Yeah.
and learn how to channel their anger.
So I'm doing it sort of as a joke, but then it actually becomes a thing with like me.
I'm just saying, if you're in Hollywood and you're making movies,
Yeah.
this goes to you, Tina Fey, who's maybe inspired people to write mean books,
Yeah.
and also to the geniuses behind the Shrek series who made everyone get donkeys as pets. Okay? Two things. Number one, real life burn books hurt real life feelings. And
Yeah.
two, donkeys live for fucking dozens of years.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with them? Oh, we'll put them in a donkey sanctuary. It doesn't matter, because when people say donkey sanctuary and it needs funding, you'll only laugh because it's a donkey. That's not to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
So harsh lessons to be learned here.
That doesn't get you little green credit thing in Asda when you put it in.
No,
Sorry,
it's
Donkey
none of them.
Sanctuary.
It goes none of them at all.
Yeah.
Exactly. We hear that, I'd heard previously that Damien was too gay to function. They're going through the burn book and they get to the bit about Janice and they're basically accusing her of being a lesbian. Or
Yeah.
They're not quite as nice about it. They don't say it as nice as I did.
No.
They just say the D word over and over again.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really hateful. Because Regina says retarded all the time as well.
Yeah.
She's really like... She
in
has the kind of... I
yeah.
know like a lot of girls that were like that. They would just have the kind of... Oh, I know that it's wrong. And I know that you don't want me to say it. But I
Yeah.
will say all these words because I know I will get away with it.
In a way, I think it's probably pretty authentic in terms of the kind of language and way people will talk about each other in
Oh,
school.
definitely. Yeah, no, definitely
Yeah.
in schools. It's quite like that.
Yeah.
But she mentions just the bit about Damien about being too gay to function. Like, add it to the book. And and they put an eye of Newt and all that kind of
But that's
thing.
her line. It's only okay when she says it.
We get to see Tina Fey out of the classroom when they're hanging around in the place where Janice works.
Yeah, the kind
She's
of...
got all these fun buttons on.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Oh. No, it's sweet.
Fun
buttons. What a band they were.
And she's working part-time at a bar called PJ Calamities. I'm pretty sure you can get a picture of buffalo wings there or something like that. There's lots of goofy shit in the walls, I bet.
It's things like that, little details like PJ Calamities that made both of us really laugh.
Big
But
time.
If you're not paying attention, it doesn't matter that bit.
I want to
but,
go into
yeah.
PJ Calamities with you sometime, man. I'm just saying,
I'm sure she was DJing it, but...
Oh,
PJ Calamities,
no.
I think. Yeah.
So we get this recurring thing as well, which is Regina's on the phone to Katie,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh no, but there's a third person on there.
Yeah.
Secret three-way phone dance.
More clever ways of tripping people up. Yeah.
That's awful. I was worried when I started watching this movie, kind of going, this probably isn't got much relevance to kids these days in the age of social media, where all of this would play out
Oh, yeah.
in a completely different way.
Yeah.
But I still think they managed to capture...
Yeah,
like,
it does...
even with the phone calls, the kids are going to ring each other on phones these days.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. Like, they're going to fucking conference call like that and be
No.
on call waiting. But I imagine that that's still kind of
Similar things
translated.
can happen.
I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think this film probably hasn't aged as badly as maybe some films from similar or slightly earlier times. Because like films like this often try and be very topical and cool by incorporating bits of technology from right then.
They can't be like, hey, Janice, put down that Sudoku puzzle because
Yeah.
it's 2004. And
Get
we're
off
just living
MSN.
for...
And then a few years later it becomes like really dated. And this doesn't have as much of that.
Yeah, they actually were quite reserved.
yeah.
Actually, they made themselves quite a bit more timeless by just kind of...
I think there's something very timeless about the phone that has never quite worked with like internet stuff when I see that in
Yeah.
film. No one's going to be like, a phone? What? That's from the past. But like...
Even if they
Yeah.
don't use the phone normally, they will still not view it
Yeah.
as being out of place.
Yeah.
No, that definitely
Yeah.
makes sense. So yeah, they kind of future-proofed themselves a bit here, and I really like that.
There's like an Ashton Kutcher joke, but apart from that, it's relatively kind of...
I mean, let's not let themselves mug themselves over it, okay? That's fine. So Katie gets invited to this Halloween costume party. So she assumes it's Halloween, so I should dress up as a scary ghost of some sort.
So she's got her big crush on Aaron.
Hunk.
Yeah. Is the October 3rd thing a thing? Or if I... Yeah, that's a thing? It's a thing. Is that one of those things? Because there's things that come up every, like, year on things like Tumblr and Twitter. I think It's October 3rd is a one. Because that's what she said. I can't remember who says it, but someone says it's October 3rd. Yeah.
Katie says it's October 3rd.
It's October 3rd. And I think that's a thing that people then post every October 3rd.
There was a couple of very Tumblred moments in this. A couple of GIFs.
It's like the Back to the Future thing, except it's not been done for every single day of the year.
Yeah,
to troll
I don't
people.
think if you just had Katie turn and say it's September 11th that it would maybe fly quite as easily.
Yeah.
You know, we would smell a rat.
I might start a Tumblr blog where it's just that GIF, and the caption is just a different date every year.
And it was like, I've been gotten again by that rotter Sam
Yeah.
Chapman. Please do. Please
It exists. Oh,
do. It exists.
damn it! Oh, I've been beaten to the punch.
Well, thank God we've got an intern. Otherwise, you would have went to bed tonight with hopes of setting up a mildly
Yeah.
successful blog.
Oh.
Don't stop believing, Sam. Hold on to that feeling.
Anyway, she's off to that Halloween party.
But she makes the mistake of dressing up scary instead of in lingerie and animal ears, which is
Yeah.
what everyone else dresses up in. Well, all the girls dress up in. All the guys seem to have generally lazy costume.
Yeah.
Like football player.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to say this now. If you're a guy in school and you go as a football player or a scientist because you have a lab coat, right, that is a lazy Halloween outfit.
Alright.
It's really, really lazy.
Yeah.
I know you're not too keen on Halloween, but I got to have my soapbox for this moment, you know?
Yeah.
Regina talks behind Katie's back to the hunk, and she's basically like, even though she says that she's going to talk and put in a good word for her, but she actually turns around, so they end up kissing, and then Katie's all like, "Oh my God, why have you done this? You've broken my heart." But then they turn around and it's like, "Oh no, that he actually was coming out to her." Very, very good at this. I get the feeling she's done this before. Has this Regina?
Maybe. Yeah.
They do a kiss, and obviously Lindsay Lohan reacts very awfully. She's very upset.
Proper cross.
She's very cross.
She's
very
full on
upset.
miffed.
She says that her stomach felt like it would fall out of her butt. We've all been there. Right out of my butt. Awful stuff. But hashtag Team Outsiders all group together and decide that this has kind of gone too far. They're going to hatch a plot. Use our insider status with the plastics to take him down from the inside.
Like undermine the fuck out of her, yeah.
Undermining.
Yeah.
I like when students decide collectively to undermine other students. Always works well.
All those attempts fail. There's the thing like the cutting a hole in the top, and then everyone does it because it's a trend. She's a trend setter.
Bloody fads. That's how they all start.
And her face smells of foot, but it's good. People like feet.
For me, that really was the only moment where the age of the writer maybe was shown. It was kind of like an older person that was writing this and not a kid, because of me like,
Foot cream.
fads. I bet if we cut her top open, they'd still wear it.
Oh, I thought you meant that she'd just look around and see like a tub of foot cream and be like, I'll put that.
We got a nice quote from Katie where she says that they have to fight and take her down, but this is girl world where all the fighting has to be secret.
Yes.
And it's basically like the Cold War then for the next kind of few scenes, which I quite enjoy.
Yeah.
Regina eventually reveals her incredibly twisted history with Janice.
Yeah.
Which is basically like, I think this is quite relatable for people where they had someone they were friends with very, very young, and then just for whatever reason,
There's some kind of falling out.
bam, and then, because that's definitely happened to me, where
Yeah.
there were guys and you're like super best friends, and then like,
one day after something, like
No.
mortal enemy.
we're 15 now, we must hate each other forever. And that's weird, because those are people I probably still wouldn't talk to, because like, well, they hate me, but it's like, well, it's, more time has passed from since then, since before I was born, but that's quite a relatable thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And to think that, that like Janice's like whole outlook in life and like a lot of it impacted her greatly because she left school and then she came back and she was all different. Horrible stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I'm glad I don't live in girl world.
Me too. I'm glad that you don't live in girl
I'm
world.
glad I live in swirl world instead. Like, we get the 3-point attack, which is to attack her quote amazing body, her army of serpent people, and also her hot boyfriend.
Yeah.
Gonna take them all down, and they decide to undermine her friends by taking advantage of the candy canes.
Yeah, the candy cane system.
The candy cane system
That exists.
which exists.
Apparently.
Because apparently in Christmas you get Valentine's Day in America because you just love sugar. Give out all the sugar. Any old reason to. It's not Christmas but a candy cane apparently.
But I'm glad they let Damien be in charge of that.
Yeah, Damien gets to be love Santa going around handing it out.
Yeah.
And then we get the line.
Yeah.
4 for you, Glenn Coco. Wait, is it 4 for you or is it more than 4?
Yeah.
Glenn Coco gets an undisclosed number of candy canes.
I think it's 4.
I think it's 4.
Yeah.
You go, Glenn Coco.
Yeah.
And I
thought that was such an important line from the way people talk about it.
I remember when I was like, when I first watched this, I was like,
You don't
16.
see Glenn Coco's fucking
You don't.
face.
Who is he?
Ah.
But I remember when I was like 15 or 16, whenever this first came out, and I watched it, and everyone was like, "Aha, you go, Glenn Coco." And I remember being fucking pissed off. And I'm like, it's not even a primary line of dialogue.
Why are you doing this?
Why are you doing? He probably improv'd it on the set. You know he probably did.
I don't know. I do understand why it's become quoted though. It's a fun line.
And it rhymes.
It's just silly, like the way it sounds is bouncy and fun. You go Glen Coco.
I think like in Dumb and Dumber they say kick his ass, sea bass.
Yeah.
That's I think was another line which I was like, why does everyone think that's so funny? It just rhymes.
It ain't clever, but it's funny and it sounds good.
And everyone thinks it's amazing.
Cinema Swirl.
And I bet if we type in Glen Coco into Tumblr, we'll probably get all sorts of posts. I bet someone has actually got a picture of the extra who played Glen Coco.
I don't want to see him.
I need to see him.
No.
It's like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. I gotta know what's
Maybe
in
he was
there.
in the credits.
Probably.
Yeah, Glen Coco.
Glen Coco. Someone screen cap that at Cinema Swirl. We gotta know about Glen
Find
Coco.
us Glen Coco.
Find Glen Coco.
Where did he go?
I really just want a cup of cocoa now. I've said it so many times, like, you know. Winter Talent Show, which is basically like every talent show in school ever. They managed to encapsulate this perfectly. You've got the Damien who's basically playing the role of, oh, that's the slightly awkward kid, but oh, he's got a singing voice that you wouldn't believe, but then it kind
he does sound good.
It doesn't work out the way he wants to. You've got the guys who are doing the rap who get overly sexualized and really... Kevin, please stop, you know.
Thank you, Kevin, that's enough.
Thank you, Kevin, that's enough. I was wondering if you had any memories of talent shows in school growing up, any kind of things like any embarrassing moments, not necessarily with you, but other people in talent shows.
Sure. Well, you're looking at a guy who has done balloon modelling at a school talent show in the past.
Sorry, what?
Balloon modelling.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do this.
I can't anymore. I probably still could make like a dog or something.
So what could you? What was the routine?
What was my patter?
What was it? Was a solid 5 minutes of balloon construction, or?
I think there was like some light gags that I I was coached by the drama teacher, Mr. Bone, and he suggested I actually have some patter with my balloon modelling set.
I'm just saying, if Mr. Bone wasn't secretly evil and doing something untoward,
yeah.
Mr. Bone.
We also had Mr. Demon.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Was he the headmaster? Did he peer over his spectacles at you?
No. But he was the IT teacher and he was a bit of a creep, and everyone was like, well, he's called Mr. Demon.
Well, you get what you get, like, with it. So you had how did it go?
Good, yeah. I think I was a lot younger than people are in this thing. It was like quite early on. But I did some balloon modelling.
Do you remember any of your patter?
No, I can't remember, but it's kind of probably why I went into stand-up the way it was received, that people actually wanted these little balloon models that I'd made. And then
you were like, I could do this without the balloons.
It's
like his massive awakening line.
Like, one of my friends is still annoyed that I didn't give them a balloon model, like,
really?
15, 16.
Do you ever think you might reprise it as part of the act?
There is a Joe Pasquale joke where he talks about doing some balloon modelling and then throws some balloons over his shoulder and does like a little dance, like he's modelling the balloons like they're clothes. So maybe I could just do that.
I was going to say, maybe that's just proof that balloon modelling jokes have peaked.
Yeah, I'll steal some Joe Pasquale material and go meta.
Anyone ever fuck up massively at...
I don't remember many embarrassing fuck-ups. I remember like kind of crap bands playing like Smells Like Teen Spirit or something, and I was probably in about 4 of them. But apart from that, there's not any kind of big...
We had one kid who was... You know, there's always kind of like a kid that's kind of like... He's the outsider, but he's also like... This guy's really well off and he was really cool, and his parents were like, you know... One of his parents were like fucking airplane pilots, something like that, so he was like world travel, and he was all like fucking super cool and above everyone else.
Yeah.
So he was an outsider, didn't have many friends, but he was viewed as being better than everyone still.
Okay.
And he decided to do Stained, you know, what's that awful song they had with Fred Durst? Oh, Stained and Fred Durst.
I'm on the outside, I'm looking in, I can see through you, see the real you, 'cause inside you're ugly, ugly like me. Na England.
The problem was that he was only 14 and his voice hadn't broken, so he had to put on a bit of a cowboy voice for it.
Yeah.
And he forgot the words. He forgot the words, but he insisted on keep going. So he had to turn and tell the guitarist. It was only him, the guitarist, who said, "No, keep going." And everyone was going, "Oh, Jesus." And then the guitarist just stopped. And he said, "No, seriously, keep going." And he started again. And then he just went, "Oh, fuck." And he couldn't remember the last verse. which admittedly is the hardest verse to remember. The only bit I ever did at a talent show was I did my last year. I was like, oh, I'll do stand-up.
Okay, you were that guy.
My first ever bit of stand-up I did in the talent show, and I just made fun of all the teachers because we were breaking like 2 weeks later. It got big laughs.
Yeah.
That being said,
that's a good idea.
the material was very much pitched at the room. You know,
you did that as a type 5 in a club, and it didn't work.
I'm just saying, I went down to Just the Tonic, and I was like, why don't you want a tight 5 on Mr. McGeady? You know, I've got some fucking killer material on Mr. Magali's Pichant for French, you know, but no one outside of it thought it was funny.
No.
Talent shows here, of course, also capped by the fact that all of the Plastics and Lindsay Lohan are doing a sexy Santa dance.
Yeah.
Which I remember being one of the reasons why me and most of my male compatriots were very happy to see this movie at the time. Because you're all enjoying it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But then we knew when we saw this, like, oh, this is a movie that we'll remember for some time as hormonal teenagers.
Yeah. I think that I remember talent shows having kind of inappropriately sexy dancing.
Oh boy, so we didn't have anything inappropriate.
Oh, okay.
I was the inappropriate one.
Yeah.
The coordinator said that he was worried he would lose his job afterwards. But there was nothing remotely sexy at all. So,
controversial comic.
Controversial comic. They tried to silence me like
Lenny Bruce.
So was there any of this kind of like, because that's like something quite worrying in a school if they like have that element to it. Like,
No, I remember kind of girls doing dances that were a bit too sexy.
Risque.
Yeah.
And it's so funny as well because like Amy Poehler, the cool mom, was like all
She's
thumbs
dancing
up,
along.
like dancing along.
Oh.
So fucking lame.
The jerk from Scrubs is looking a bit uncomfortable. Like, it's like, oh.
You ain't in Africa anymore, mate. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of tension though between Gretchen and Regina.
Yes.
And basically, it's all coming to a head now. And like Gretchen has a little meltdown in class. She's meant to be talking about Caesar and Brutus.
Yeah.
But you can kind of tell she's talking about other things when she says Brutus is cute and people totally like Brutus.
Yeah.
Mate, the man's a brute. No one likes him. He's not cute.
Because Katie kind of saved the day with the dance when it went wrong, and Gretchen kind of fucked everything up.
Because she was on the wrong side.
And now she's sort of been replaced.
And she feels very undermined and threatened by it. Which means she's going to start spilling secrets about Regina. But she's talking about Brutus, like, it's Cutus is the one she's thinking of, I think, now. She might be getting mixed up, you know?
And this is when we have stop trying to make fetch happen. It's never going to be a thing, right? Now, I saw on the Facebook that someone said stop trying to make season 2 happen. It's never going to be a thing. And I was like, hey! Screw you. But now I'm like, okay, clever joke. Well
Season
done.
2 is a thing we do in England. Don't you know? Haven't you heard? All podcasts have seasons in England.
Yep.
Maybe you should get out more. There is a scene, a series of scenes where we know that Regina is cheating on the hunk in the projector room. So they're like, right,
Trying to lead him there.
Try to lead him here. My favourite one, of course, being swim team practice will happen in the projector room above. That's just brilliant.
Yeah.
Or like Damien like stealing the bag and running away. Like.
He looks like he's heading towards the projector room.
So they don't manage to catch him regardless of how many times they try.
They catch the coach making out with a student.
Yeah, I know as well. I realised it was the Malaysian student as well. Like they're real kind of like, yeah, and it becomes a bit of a joke later on, going, "Oh, the coach is a paedophile."
Yeah,
you know, it's not really
a regular Mr. Demon.
Yeah, seriously, regular Mr. Demon indeed.
Sorry, Mr. Demon, those accusations are unfounded. But yeah.
The plan to destroy Regina's figure begins with her being given these special nutrient bars, which they give to undernourished children in Africa, full of fat and carbs. That is to get your weight up really quickly. But they managed to bamboozle Regina into taking them, though.
Yeah, because it's all in Swedish, and also she doesn't really understand the maths of like calories.
She doesn't understand the maths of food.
Yeah,
she's eating 5,000 calories a day. That's over twice the recommended amount for men. So she might get a bit of a tummy at the end of this.
I like the little moment of hesitation she has when she mentions to the other girls that she's trying to lose 3 pounds.
And this
and then they don't say anything, and she's like, and then they quickly, why stop it? You don't need to. Yeah.
You don't need to lose that weight. I swear. Of course not.
Katie
falls in a bin. And I realise at this moment that there's a lot of times where people just fall over.
Yeah, it's funny.
There's a lot of times where I think that it was getting to the end of the day, Tina Fey's like, man, that's a really good scene. Oh, what do we do here? Fuck it, they fall over.
Yeah.
You know? And you know what? You're allowed to do that 3 times in a movie and still maintain your dignity, I think.
Yeah.
Your credibility.
You've Been Framed takes it too far.
Too far.
Yeah.
Now they think they can mix it up by having jokes and Jeremy Beadle,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. You can't hide behind that forever.
Well, that bit in You've Been Framed where it's just babies like smiling and being cute. That's not You've Been Framed. That's just a baby.
The baby has just been filmed.
You don't deserve 250 quid. Yeah.
The child has not been framed in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Katie is kind of going down the slippery slope by trying to destroy them. She's becoming quite like them.
Yeah.
And she's also become incredibly obsessed with Regina, and as a result, dreadfully boring. She's just talking about her.
And she smells like a baby prostitute.
That's a golden line.
Yeah, that's
absolutely golden line. So she starts pretending to be really bad at math.
Yes, to impress
To impress
a
the
boy.
hunk.
Yeah.
To impress boy hunk.
Yep.
If you've been this person in class, or I know if you've done this, you're a bad person. Where you're in math, when you're in maths and someone doesn't know what's going on because they have daydreamed and they've come to you for help.
Yeah.
And instead of owning, because it's only to a student. If a student knows that you don't know it, big fucking whoop. If a teacher, you have to lie to a teacher and your parents, obviously. But if you turn to a fellow student and go, oh yeah, it means this, and you're just completely bluffing them.
Yeah.
Right? You've put a crimp in that person's day. Alright? Good and proper.
Yeah.
Fucking cut it out. Own up to it. Particularly in math.
Yeah.
Just saying, you know?
Yeah.
So she private tutors the hunk.
Yeah.
She
No,
gets
the other way
private
around.
tutored. Yeah, she gets private tutored by the hunk.
Yeah.
Which results in an inevitable kiss and an inevitable reveal. She just tells him, yeah, Regina's cheating on him. So they break up. Which was a bit, not according to the plan. That was a little bit on the nose.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I know you want to kiss that boy,
I
but
think Katie just wants that to happen.
she's not being very Regina in her approach to things here, is all I'm saying. She's being far too Gretchen, you know?
Yeah.
Karen reveals that she could put her whole fist in her mouth.
Oh God. Oh, I really quite love Karen because she's just the Katie telling her you're not stupid, Karen. She's like, no, I am actually.
There's loads of things you're good at. She's like, oh, yeah, I can put my fist in my mouth.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you, I know a girl who can do that, who can put her fist in her mouth. And I'll be honest, it's not a fact that she publicly advertises because there is no nice way Sam's trying to put his fist in his mouth, right? As mate, I'm usually you put your foot in your mouth on this podcast. Hey, solid gag.
I'll tell you what, it's not easy.
But I will say, if you can, see, it's not easy. So
No.
if you can do it, that's like fucking hell. You can
My mouth
put your,
proper hurts.
You can put your fist in your mouth,
Yeah.
but there's no way which you can reveal that information without someone going,
Talent show.
talent show, folks. I'll watch 20 minutes of that. That's all
Hello,
I'm
Simon
saying.
Cowell. I'm here today.
Have I got a Britain's Next Top X Factor for you?
Also, another top that I want is the socialite. Just,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
She had others always said Royal Punk. I thought you would have liked that. Very fitting given your,
a wrestler,
your
isn't it?
English heritage. The nominations are open for Spring Fling, and
Mm-hmm.
they decide to rig the nominations. So Gretchen gets nominated, and so does Karen, and so does Katie. So it's all to kind of make Regina feel like, oh, people are conspiring against her. But Katie actually got nominated. She
Yeah,
got
yeah.
nominated for realsies.
She's becoming a mean girl. She's popular.
She gets a bit of an ill ego at this point, you know.
Janice is also nominated, but that was like a rigged thing. She's
Yes.
kind of just in there as a goof.
Because Damien
from
is
Damien.
nice.
Yeah.
Good on you, Damien.
Yeah.
Tina Fey gives solid advice to Katie, which she opts to neglect. I think Tina Fey's figured out she's pretending to be shit at math.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that, you know.
Yeah. And then she puts her in the bloody burn book.
Yeah, she says that she's a pusher, so she writes down that she's a drug dealer as a result.
Yeah.
Then we get 4-way phone madness. I absolutely adore that scene. It's just absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like, it goes on and on, like more people on the phone. Karen can't remember who she's on the phone with. So fucking funny. Cut to Regina, who is now wearing sweatpants on a Monday and is overweight and friendless, apparently.
Yep.
Gretchen tells her that she can't sit with them.
Yeah. Is that rules?
The rules are there for a reason. Without
Yeah.
the rules, we descend into madness. And without madness, there's nothing.
I love
you know?
Regina at one point just saying the rules aren't real.
They don't. Regina at this point is kind of like, it doesn't count for me. And why can't you see that? You know. So now Katie is the queen bee.
Yeah.
So she decides to do
It happens so quick.
very quickly.
Yeah.
How fleeting is? I mean, if she goes from September, it's basically after Christmas.
Yep.
So in the space
Boom,
of 3
boom,
months,
boom.
boom, 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 queen bee.
Yeah.
What do you do if you become a queen bee? You throw a ruddy big nose house party. You know. Get me Mr. Blobby on the phone, you know? And oh my goodness, she's calling everyone...
Mr. Blobby, people have been talking about it.
Mr. Blobby, I'm really popular now. Get over here, biatch.
Yeah.
She calls everyone biatch
Yes, because that's what cool kids do.
in 2004.
Yeah.
Did you ever call anyone a biatch?
Still do. Yeah, biatch.
It's our pet name for each other.
Yeah.
And like all these things, she's like, I got cheese and crackers for 8 people. Boy, it's a straight up kegger now.
Yeah.
Actually, it's such a kegger, I'd say this has become a hashtag kegger.
Yeah.
With older kids.
And this is pre-Facebook, where people, you could hide your event listing,
Yeah.
or leave it public and then have a massive destroyed house.
But this is basically
That kid in
assumedly
Australia.
on phone, word of mouth, and maybe MySpace alone that this was all arranged. You know, that's very, very impressive.
Yeah. So Lindsay's kind of stressed, and Thingy's not turning up.
Yeah,
Aaron.
she's basically the whole thing is just for the hunk to turn up.
Yeah.
And he finally does arrive, and he doesn't see her, and he's going wandering around the house.
But she's been drinking because she's like, oh, he's not here, and has a quick sip of something.
I'll be honest now.
Yeah.
I've noticed if you're nervous and you have a cider near you,
Me?
the sip will.
Oh yeah, no,
increase.
I drink.
You're a nervous sipper.
I'm a nervous drinker. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's alcohol, I will just drink loads of alcohol. It's with any liquid, well, with some exceptions.
Yeah.
But like a drink, I will have whatever's there, and sometimes it's alcohol, and I'll get
Nerves, yeah.
big pissed, big quick.
That's annoying because if the thing that you're nervous about
Yeah.
doesn't get resolved, then you're more nervous and drunk.
Yeah.
I can't handle being
Which means
nervous.
I'm nervous and loud.
I'm nervous. I'm worried we may run out of cider.
So she gets a bit drunk.
She gets a bit drunk, yeah. And he's up in her room, and he looks at this picture of her with all the plastics. He's kind of like,
Takes off and she's
Takes off, and then there's a picture of her as like a toddler on an elephant, and there's a bit of a look in his eyes.
Yeah.
A bit of a look in his eyes.
It was a sexy elephant. So
She comes up and he's like, "Hey, why did you bring out that elephant I seen earlier?" Hey, yeah, I know. I really want to talk, but would it be cool? Ha 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 ha! Winky face. How about if you get that elephant though?
Yeah.
You know, that's really cool. But could you talk more about your elephant? You know, I know what he's after. I'm just saying, I know what he's after.
May as well address the elephant in the room.
Can we please address the elephant in the room?
But she's too drunk at this point, and he starts like being like, "Oh, you're just like those mean girl." Well, he doesn't say that, but you're like a clone of.
You're like the small ones on the cover. That's what you ruddy are, you know.
And then she goes from Lindsay Lohan to Lindsay Throwhan because she throws up on his lap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weak gag.
Very weak gag. Weak at best. Weak, borderline frail gag.
All right,
there.
come on.
But this was a really well written scene in terms of they captured that nervous, drunken. Yes, they both obviously like each other. And they want to be. That is obvious.
Yeah.
But I don't think either is clear on the steps to get there. So
No.
she's like, "No, sit down. I'll sit down.
Yeah.
Shut up." Oh no, sick.
Yeah.
And it's awful, and it's heartbreaking, and it's kind of I was watching that kind of going, when we were like 16, going, oh, imagine if that happened to us. How would you? A year later, how did this happen
to us?
us? We watched Mean Girls. We prepared to prevent this from happening. Yeah.
And then Janice rolls by out of the sunroof of her car.
She very much reminds me of something from Mad Max. Just like
Yeah.
on top of a vehicle, kind of going, rah!
Or like
declaring things, you know?
several music videos. You
Yeah.
have people hanging out of the sunroof just
Friday,
singing about.
Friday, you know?
But Damien's like, I can't stop. I just have to keep driving very slowly because there's a curfew.
I will say, Damien's also upset, but he keeps a cool lid on it.
Yeah?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
doesn't let it show. You know,
No.
it's quite good. But Janice, yeah, very, very upset. And she's like, you didn't invite us to the party. You didn't come to my art show. You're obviously just one of them.
But she won a prize, and it was for a thing that she painted,
was
and
a
it
picture
had
of
Katie
all
in
of
it.
together.
Oh.
Destined to end up in a pile of, similar artwork done by students who have left, and therefore it's no longer cute to hang up in the art room.
Yeah.
That's
But
kind of the fate of that drawing.
That's how you know who your real friends are, because they do little drawings of you.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Yeah.
Have you ever you have drawn me before?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
Keep it on the
okay.
up and up there. That's all right.
I think we have drawn each other in the past.
I've drawn you as a penis. I don't know if that counts.
I've drawn you with my penis. I don't know if that counts. Yeah. Just weighing in some snow.
Oh, I thought you dipped your phallus in a pot of ink and then,
Who told you?
Who told you? Regina figures out that the fat bars make her fat. And then we get this lovely sequence of screaming. She's just like non-stop, ah!
Yeah.
And Regina, not to prove a stereotype, but the ability to multitask. She can scream
Yep.
right in the burn book and seemingly construct this Machiavellian plot all at once.
Yeah.
Now, if I was screaming, I'd have to sit down and just do that for a bit.
Yeah.
Then maybe move on to the next bit, have a bit of dinner, sit down. But I'm very impressed. I kind of want her screams as a ringtone, though.
Yeah, well, I don't.
Kind of, you know, I would definitely, or an alarm.
Alarm. Yeah,
I
that
would
would get you up in
definitely
the morning.
wake up.
Yeah.
For fear of being burned.
She writes fugly slut in the burn book. Now, fugly always reminds me of Mo Sislak saying that he's been called ugly,
Pugly.
fugly, pug fugly, but never ugly.
Yeah.
It's something along those lines, and it's that fugly reminded me of that.
Fugly is a really funny word.
The first time I'd heard fugly.
So she calls it what is a fugly
Slut.
fugly slut. That's like the two ends of the spectrum there meeting each other out, isn't it? Like, you know, it's like oh, you gosh darn motherfucker. You know, that's kind of those two words are kind of opposite ends of the spectrum, hot and cold there. But yeah, she puts it in the burn book. You think she's writing it about Katie,
Yeah.
but it transpires she's actually writing it about herself.
Brilliant plot twist.
Oh, amazing swerve by Regina here. She posts photocopies of the burn book all around the school and then goes to the principal and hands it in saying, I found this.
Yeah.
And it's obviously not me because that awful bit written in
Why would
there
I write that
me.
about myself?
So there's only 3 people who's not in here, and it's Katie, Gretchen, and Karen.
Yeah, but she breaks from her tears to correct him when he's not like saying things properly. It's like, you know, a fugly slut.
Brilliant. And like everyone is out, it's like it just becomes like pure madness.
Yeah.
These awesome long shots of everyone just freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
The hot dog girl finds out that people know she made out with a hot dog.
That
She's
was
like,
just one time.
mate, it's never one time.
It was just banter.
It was just banter between friends and hot dogs.
Yeah.
Tina Fey also sees the bit written about her, and so she's upset.
Yeah.
Hot dog girl's upset, and also everyone else is upset.
Yeah. So the principal gets wind of this because a woman comes in and said the girls have gone wild.
The girls have, for all intents and purposes, gone wild in this case. Yeah.
And the principal reaches for a fucking baseball.
And he just like smashes in, and he's like, "Right, we're all going into the assembly hall."
Yeah.
And he kind of becomes like a black John McClane here because he just takes off his shirt.
just
He's
goes
got like
vest.
baseball hat,
Yeah.
vest. It's a good look.
Yeah. And
Really like
he,
it.
he then comes out with the line that made me laugh the most in this whole film, which was that he was angry at all these girls for what was going on, and said, "I ought to cancel the spring fling, but
And he goes, "Oh no, don't do that.
I'm not going to do that because we've already paid the DJ.
We're going to stay here all night if we have to."
We can't do that. It's only until 4:30. We're going to stay here till 4:30.
I love that. And again, I think what's a great strength of this movie, something we've definitely picked up on, is that if you're a parent being dragged along to this, you're going to have a good time. Because I think the parents can resonate with the grown-ups in this movie a lot.
Yep.
And they kind of understand a lot of what's going on with the Cade characters as well, because it's very well explained. I think this actually is one of those few teen movies that transcends to grown-ups as well, definitely.
Yeah.
I think grown-ups had just as much fun with this one. It's very, very smartly well written. Because you always say that about, it's a kid's movie, but it's good for grown-ups. But rarely do you go, it's a teen movie, but also for grown-ups.
Yeah.
So
Just realize we're talking about grown-ups like they're like above us, but we are grown-ups, Kevin.
Shut up! Shut up! I would have good authority. If I find out I'm a grown-up, I'm going to have to pay tax.
Yeah, that'll happen.
So we have a little bit of a plan which is hatched by Tina Fey. She basically wants everyone to she gets them all to close their eyes and hands up if you've been victimized or had something said behind your back or said something behind someone's back, and kind of eases
She
it
says
all
some
up.
really important stuff. Yeah.
It's really good, and it's almost like you think that Tina Fey has wanted to say this to like the girls of America.
Yeah.
For some time, and it's really, really eloquent and really well put together. I love it, and they start to go through all their problems one by one to try and like just get it all organized. And they start doing like a trust circle as well, where people just like say stuff and then they fall backwards.
Perfect opportunity for some more gags with the trust circle situation.
Gretchen coming up saying, "I'm really sorry that you're all jealous of me because I'm so popular, and like only Karen will catch her."
Funny. Yeah.
Walk it off.
The girl who doesn't even go there.
Yeah, because she's
has
just
feelings.
emotional. She just wants to make a cake out of rainbows. And then Janice just cuts a fucking promo. I love it.
Kicking some serious ass there.
When she says, "I got a big lesbian,"
you.
just kind of hey, it's in the morning. And she's kind of like a DJ quality. I love that.
Yeah,
absolutely adore it.
But she gets everyone into trouble there by just saying, Katie did it. Basically,
It's her.
Yeah,
straight up. Like we know it's Katie.
We made Katie be like in amongst you, so that she find out stuff about you. But then she became one of you and all that. And she doesn't say that.
She basically implies it. Yeah. Regina is obviously, she found out all this, all the things that they did to screw her over, and she's well pissed.
Yeah.
And before she can do anything, she just gets run over by a bus.
Yeah.
Credits roll.
Did not see that coming.
I should have broke your thumbs. Mean girls in a mean world, and I am a mean
Cinema Swirl.
girl. Again, that would have been a very appropriate moment to end the movie there. Sadly not. She survives.
Fucking funny though.
It was.
It's like, look, yeah.
But it was done in such a brutal way that it wasn't kind of a ha. It was a they really worked that well there.
Yeah.
We have like Katie now is just kind of like trying to settle in, get away from all this, living in this post-drama world. She's just focusing on her studies, joins the mathletes, and like her parents are giving out to her and she's eating dinner and her mom goes, "Are you finished?" And she says, "No," and she takes it away. Right. Has that ever happened?
Well,
I've been threatened with go to bed without dinner, which never transpired. And to this day, I think it's an elaborate bluff.
Right.
Well, is the parent ever going to go, "No, you're done"?
No.
That's a real Gordon Ramsay thing to do.
Yeah.
I bet he does that. You're done.
Yeah.
But yeah, awful mean stuff from the parents there.
Yeah.
Katie decides to fall on her sword and takes the blame for essentially everything.
Yeah.
And that's quite noble of her.
Because Tina Fey's character's been like investigated for drug pushing.
Because in the burn book, the PE teacher finds out that they wrote in there that he was having...
So now all of the claims have to be
all the claims have to be investigated. And they're like, did she ever sell you marijuana or ecstasy tablets? What are marijuana tablets? Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Funny.
Katie blows off the fling for the mathletes.
Yep.
I think it was pretty cool. The final round of the mathletes is girl-on-girl math action. And yes, of course, we all need
.clipsforsale.com.
They all get Letterman jackets for winning, and they were sweet. Cool.
There's a funny bit where she's trying to remember like a formula or something, and she doesnne remember it because that's when she was looking at Aaron, and then she just concentrates really hard and makes his face disappear. Which again, like, is not a joke. It's a visual joke.
I'm gonna go.
It's not done enough in films.
I'm gonna go and see if I can find any hunks around these streets afterwards and stare at them really hard and think about math and see if I can make them disappear.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's exactly what happened.
I'm reading a very literal interpretation.
Math doesn't make people
I'm just saying
disappear.
I haven't seen this guy in ages.
Yeah,
he's disappeared. Point. He's lost the ether,
When they win, Kevin, the character named Kevin, does a proper like, "Get some!" And
he rips open his shirt.
Yeah. And then that him saying "get some" slightly echoes into the next scene, which is just one of my favourite things. It just hangs over slightly.
Because if he just went "get some" and I was like, boom, next scene, you'd be like, "Ha, he's awesome."
But there's just a little bit of reverb on it that you still hear when you go into.
And you're just like, "Oh, he's a fucking idiot," like everyone you would in that position.
But they've got all their nice Letterman jackets.
Katie becomes queen of both math and spring, and she's voted queen of spring fling, mainly because most people think she killed Regina. And she gives a little speech.
Yeah.
To emphasize the differences between men and women. When the king is crowned, he goes, "Yeah, woo, get some," and he does a little pose.
The spring fling king.
The spring fling king, ladies and gentlemen. You're spring fling king. Ooh, yeah, ooh, get some.
No, I'm not.
And then instead, Katie, she cuts quite an extensive monologue.
Yeah.
About all the things people have done and how everyone deserves to be a queen and all royalty.
And we were all kind of noticing, like, she's going on a bit.
Kind of going on a little bit. And then the principal's kind of like, people who just kind of...
take the crown and go.
But she breaks up the crown.
Yep.
And gives out little crownlets.
To all of the people.
All the people.
So many people.
So it's better, instead of one person being queen, or all of them being queen... around 7 or 8 of them get to
Most of us are queens.
Some of us are queens. Yeah. That's all that's important.
Yes.
So, a little epilogue. Regina's become a jock as a result of this. So, she's, channeled all her aggression into sports.
Yeah, and it's worked.
It's worked. She's kicking ass at lacrosse. Karen has become a weather.
Yeah.
And Gretchen seems to become some sort of consort for the Asian clique. The cool Asian
We
clique.
didn't mention Karen's special weather boobs.
She says her boobs can tell if it's raining.
Yeah, and that's the
If
end.
it is raining.
That's the end of her story.
Brilliant.
That's the callback at the end. Oh, that's okay. Everything's worked out for her because of her talent.
Her hidden powers.
Yeah.
And of course, Katie is with Hank. Kevin has ended up with...
Hank.
It's not Hank. Hunk. Sorry. Snip, snip.
Get in, Hank.
Katie has ended up with the hunk.
Yep.
Happily ever after. And Janice has ended up with Kevin as well.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, oh, God, last year was kind of crazy. And honestly, I think most schools go through that, I think, where you have a year where there seems to be a fuckload of drama and then people mellow out for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Usually when exams come up.
Yeah.
But I think that was the nice moral of the story for people watching this who maybe were younger teenagers, which is kind of like, as bad as it is, there's always the end of the year and then next year, regardless of what's happening, next year is always a fresh start.
But they've all kind of settled into their own thing and they're all kind of calm, and then you see the new plastics, the junior plastics, and then they get hit by a bus, but not really. It's just...
And I must say,
It's
it
just
wasn't a great way to end the movie, which was Lindsay Lohan turning to the camera going,
Psych.
just kidding.
Yeah.
And that, my friends, is Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Having watched that movie
and
your reaction to it, have a bit of a chat about it, is there credence to people who are losing their shit, maybe? Kind of go, how can we do these movies?
You know, that was really funny and pacey and clever and hilarious. They had too many women in it, so 2, maybe 1 star wipe.
An evil heel version of the outro music.
Yeah.
But what were your thoughts on this one?
It was really fucking funny.
Yeah.
It was just a funny film. Really good, clever.
Would you think you would have enjoyed it if you'd seen it at the target age? Right?
Yeah, and I probably would have started quoting Hugo and Coco and things, and I would have,
And that's why I'm really happy that Mean Girls was voted for this reason alone. Is that if you are someone who looks at something like Mean Girls, and just cause it's obviously pitched and marketed for women.
Yes.
But just because it is doesn't mean it's going to be A, boring, or B, soppy, or C, it's still a fucking hilarious movie.
It is, yeah.
It's really funny, really well written. It's really punchy, it's really snappy.
Kevin, we found it funny, and we're blokes, yeah? So if you're a bloke at Bloke Home, then maybe you should watch this film, and you'll
put down your pint of football for 5 minutes. Okay?
Yeah.
The gang will be alright with you. But I'd say, again, I'm watching this, I hadn't seen this since I was way younger, and I was a little worried. I was thinking, is this one of these ones that I think is awesome, and it's just kind of a case that we all loved it, and as a group of teenagers, and therefore you've got positive memories with it. But man,
funny.
Proper funny.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you are one of those people who's kind of all arms folded, refusing to watch this movie because you think it's not for you because you're a bloody bloke, honestly, watch it. You will be surprised.
Yeah.
You will enjoy it.
Yeah, literally, that's all we need to say, really.
That's really it.
Watch Mean Girls, then see how you feel.
So you enjoyed it?
Yes.
Lived up to the hype?
Yes. It exceeded it.
Definitely. Would you be inclined to watch more of Lindsay Lohan then? What did you think of her in this?
I thought she was good. Yeah.
She's kind of like the straight man in this for a lot of it, considering. But I think the girls who played the plastics, particularly the girl who plays Regina and the girl who plays Gretchen, are just so fucking funny.
There's a lot of very standout performances in this film
from men and women.
Yes. What a surprise!
What?
Wait a minute. Yeah.
So there you go. If you were to give this bad boy a star wipe rating, what would it be?
I'm gonna say 4 star wipes.
You heard it here first.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Cinema Swirl. This episode was produced by Kevin, it was edited by Sam, and the music was also by Sam. That's me. If you'd like to vote for our next episode, you can do so over at facebook.com/cinemaswirl. As always, you can follow us on Twitter, that's @cinemaswirl. And if you have stuff for the mailbag, we'll send it on over to cinemaswirl@gmail.com. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, or whichever podcast thing you use. And if you do and you like the show, leave a review. Oh, also, we've got a ringtone. That's on iTunes. It's the theme tune. You can buy that. Anyway, until next time, cheers. Bye.